So what if I told you there's a way to get someone to tell you almost anything without ever actually asking them a question? It's a powerful communication technique, pretty much perfected by intelligence agencies, and it's called elicitation. The whole idea is to get people talking so freely they don't even realize what they're giving away. It works by kind of sneaking past our brain's natural alarm system.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory from a psychology textbook. This stuff has been used in some incredibly high-stakes situations. To really get how powerful this is, we've got to go back in time, back to the Cold War, to a noisy bar somewhere in Thailand. All right, picture this. There's a young American sailor, serves on a submarine, and he's at a bar, just letting off some steam. A guy comes up to him, seems like a friendly local, wearing a totally casual aloha shirt. They start chatting. Everything seems normal.
Now listen very closely to what this guy in the aloha shirt says. He doesn't ask a question, he makes a statement. He says it with confidence, it's super specific, and it's completely deliberately wrong. He's not asking, he's stating a so-called fact. So what does our sailor do? I mean, he's had a few drinks, he's proud of his sub, and he just can't let this wrong information slide. Our brains hate hearing something that's just plain wrong, right? So he immediately corrects the guy. No, that's not right at all. And then he proceeds to give up classified details about his own submarine just to prove his point. So yeah, what did just happen? That sailor just leaked top secret military intelligence, and the spy never asked him a single direct question. How in the world did he pull that off? What psychological trick did he just use? Well, that, my friends, is the art of elicitation. It's a technique that was really honed by the CIA, and it's built on one beautifully simple idea. Use statements, not questions. See, when you do that, it makes people feel like they're just volunteering information in a normal conversation, not like they're being grilled in an interrogation.
So why is this so ridiculously effective? Well, it all comes down to how our brains are wired. Think about it. We have these built-in security alarms that start blaring the second we feel like someone is pushing us for information. Elicitation is basically the master key designed to quietly bypass those alarms.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. A direct question like, so how big are the propellers on your sub? Immediately feels like an interrogation. Your guard goes up. But a statement, even a wrong one, it invites a response. It just feels like a regular back and forth conversation. One feels like you're under a spotlight, and the other just feels like a chat. Now, elicitation isn't just one single move. It's more like a whole toolkit of techniques. So let's open it up and break down the 3 core methods that you really need to know. First, we're going to dig into that human need to correct people, which we just saw in action. Then, we'll look at a sneaky technique called bracketing that helps you zero in on a fact. And finally, we'll talk about how acting just a little bit doubtful can get someone to spill all the details. Okay, first up, triggering the need to correct. This is the big one. This is exactly what that Soviet spy used on the sailor. You could argue it's the most powerful tool in the whole kit, just because we are so fundamentally hardwired to correct things that we know are wrong. We just can't help ourselves. Let's bring this into the modern world. Say you want to know how much someone makes at their job at Whole Foods. Asking them directly, hey, what's your hourly wage is, well, it's pretty awkward. Instead, try this. You could say, wow, I read that all you guys at Whole Foods just got a huge raise to $26 an hour. That's amazing. What's going to happen? They'll almost certainly correct you. What? No way, I wish. I make 17. Boom, you got the information and you never asked a question. All right, on to technique number 2, bracketing. This one is clever. The idea is you offer a specific range, a bracket of information. You're basically guessing that the other person will feel compelled to correct you with the exact detail. So, for example, imagine you're trying to get some business intel. You might say to someone from a rival company, yeah, I heard you guys are moving to the new building sometime between March and April. They'll want to show you they have the real inside scoop, right? So they might say, nah, it's actually in February, but don't tell anyone I told you. You gave them a bracket and they handed you the precise answer. And that brings us to our third technique, employing disbelief. This one is all about playing to a person's ego. After they share something with you, you express just a little bit of polite doubt. This kind of challenges them, and it makes them want to offer up more proof, more details to show you that they're right. Think about this. Your friend gets back from what they say was an absolutely perfect vacation. You want to know the real story. So instead of asking a bunch of questions, you could just say, wow, that sounds incredible, but come on, there's no way that entire trip was 100% flawless. What are they going to do? They're either going to start defending how perfect it was by giving you every amazing detail, or they'll start venting about the little things that went wrong. Either way, you get the story.
Now, the real masters of this stuff don't just use one of these techniques at a time. The real art is in layering them, weaving them together into what feels like a completely natural conversation. And you know what? Getting started is a whole lot easier than you might think.
If you want to practice this, here are 2 simple, almost magical entry points. Just start your statements with "so" or "I bet." "So" helps you summarize what you think you know, inviting a correction, and "I bet" is just a really gentle way to state a belief that makes people want to respond. Just look at these examples here. Every single one is a statement, not a question. "So you've been doing this for 3 years?" They'll either nod or they'll say, "Actually, it's been 5." "I bet that was interesting." That's an open door for them to tell you a story. Even something as simple as, "I bet you hate that coffee," will get a person to volunteer information about their tastes. Okay, but this brings us to a really important rule. This is a powerful tool, right? So it's not for, figuring out how your friend takes their coffee. It's meant for something very specific. This quote right here really says it all. Elicitation is for those situations where a direct question is just going to make someone climb up. The more sensitive the topic, the more you should lean on statements. For all the everyday normal stuff, a simple question is totally fine. You have to think of this as a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. So now that you know the secret, think about your own conversations at work, in a negotiation, even just chatting with your friends. How many times could a really well-crafted statement get you a better, more honest answer than a direct question? You might be surprised. It could totally change the way you communicate.